Hey, my name is Janet and I do skating and pole dancing videos mostly. This video is going to be about why you should train as an athlete if you're a skater, and it's going to talk about some foods you could buy. I am plant-based, your macronutrients, and why recovery is so important, and what muscles you work out when you're skating. Right now I've been going to the skate park almost every day for the past a week and a half, and my body is really sore, and because of COVID I guess I haven't been doing a lot of working out as constantly, because I used to have roller derby 3 times a week, and now I kind of stopped going to the skate park until really recently, and I've been having to make sure I'm eating enough and eating the right things so that I could not feel as sore. So I'm going to explain some of the things that so some of the muscles you work when skating. So right now this is my P rail that I made. So one example is when you start learning how to pump on a bowl or in a ramp, the movement that you make going up and then going back works out your quads and your glutes. Some people are more glute or quad dominant, so the pumping motion works out mostly your quads, but sometimes some people are more dominant in their glute, and their glute kind of like overcompensates the muscles in your quads, so that's why sometimes people get a bigger butt. But also I feel like I'm quad dominant, so I have seen more definition on my leg. And then for a stalling motion, when you get to the coping, sometimes you get on there and you squat and then you bring yourself up, and that's a hip thrusting motion, and that's a glute workout. So you land on the coping and then you push your hips forward to center your balance on the coping to like hold the stall, and that's working your glute muscles. Okay, so aside from pumping on the ramp and on the bowl and stalling, which is quad and glutes, which is most of roller skating, you're working out a lot of your lower body. Toe stop tricks, it's a lot of calf muscles and core strength. So roller skating in general is working out your core. So the first week of working out, of skating consistently, I couldn't even get out of bed because like to push my body forward, like my core muscles were really sore. So core and lower body mainly, but also like when you're starting to learn tricks or handstands or handstand variations, you work out your shoulders and your arms. So I am sore from this hand because I was trying to do Bertelman, I think is what it's called. So it's kind of like a simpler flip, or like a beginner flip to start learning before like moving up to like Miller flips and other kinds of flips. So yeah, I have soreness in my hands, and even though I do pole dancing, I'm still not as strong in my upper body as I am to my lower body. But yeah, so you work out a whole bunch of different muscles when you're skating. And even if you don't go to the park and you're like street skating or like going to the beach to like skate there, that's a lot of core muscles. Especially like one thing I do see a lot of beginners doing in like videos on Instagram is that they position themselves to learn backward skating, and they keep their chest like this, and like they don't bend the knees enough. So that's why sometimes people end up getting sore backs, sore lower backs, instead of like keeping a squat and then keeping your chest straight, which is gonna work out your quads and your glutes. So if you have like small aches and pains that you feel might not be soreness from skating, sometimes your muscles are overcompensating or not being like trained properly, so the stance is a really important one. Make sure you bend your knees and don't like bend at the waist, so don't bring your chest forward. So I'm gonna show a little bit about what I eat, and these are kind of things I buy almost every time I go to the grocery store. It's just me. I live by myself and my cats, but obviously this food is just for me. I try to go at least once every 2 weeks. Sometimes it lasts like 3 weeks, so hopefully it does, because I spent $100 today. But I know some of the items I bought are gonna last me a while longer than the 2 weeks. So one of the first things, I guess I'll start with produce, because most of what I buy is produce. So I got strawberries, because I'm going to try to make a vegan strawberry cheesecake kind of thing. Strawberries. Nectarines, just because to have some snacks every now and then. Lemons, because I'm gonna make some vegan ceviche, and carrots, because I'm gonna make a vegan tuna sandwich also this week. And then milks for like my smoothies or oatmeal, or like if I make my own like acai bowl or something. So I got almond milk, and then I want to try this brand of oat milk. I just got it because it was the most affordable oat milk option that was there. I went to Ralph's, and I've never tried this brand, so hopefully it's good. Usually I never ever drink milks alone anyway, so I'm not too like particular to what brand I buy. So hopefully these are good though. And then some olive oil, just because I don't have any more cooking oil. Or also maybe I could try making recipes with making my own bread, or I don't know. So these are gonna go on the strawberry cheesecake I'm gonna make. So it's just gonna be one of those strawberry cheesecakes that you don't bake, you just kind of like put in a jar. So this is the strawberry dairy-free yogurt. I was looking for what's it called? Oat yogurt. No, not oat yogurt. I'll check my list right now, but I was looking for a different yogurt and like a container, but I went to Ralph's and this was the only one that they had. They had another one, like an almond based dairy-free yogurt. This is made from soy, but this was the cheaper option, which is the bad thing about like yogurts. I feel like alternatives like for vegan options are a little bit pricier. And then like I never make my own salsa, even though I always want to, so I just got this green sauce just for flavor for any of my other foods. Some grapes, just because I want to freeze these and have these as a snack. Celery for my tuna. Cucumber and tomato for my ceviche. Bananas, because I always eat bananas for smoothies, and also bananas help with like soreness, and I think it's vitamin B or potassium that helps with that. So I'm always not always, but recently I've been feeling a little more sore than I usually do. So I need to incorporate my bananas a little bit more into my snacks and my smoothies and such. And then avocado. So I have an avocado tree in the back, but it's barely growing a little bit. Like some of them aren't as big as this one yet. So I don't know when they're gonna be ready. So I got 2 of these avocados for avocado toast. And then these are gonna go for paper rice. No, what are they called? Paper roll tray? No, rice paper rolls. So they look kind of like egg rolls, but I'm gonna use my air fryer for these and also for tofu scramble in the morning. That's why I got an extra firm and then the medium firm. I wanted to get the softer one, but they didn't have that option. Almond butter for my toast and my oatmeal. And then I got, this is one of my favorite like vegan alternatives. So it's plant-based original sausage Italian version, and it's pretty good on pasta. Pesto for my pasta. I've never tried this brand, but I'm gonna try it because I want to have burgers this week. And then some ingredients I'm missing because I want to try to make protein pancakes. I've never made them. And then I always drink coffee, so I'm gonna try this cold brew coffee because sometimes I feel like I need a little bit something a little bit stronger, so I could just dilute this with oat milk or almond milk and just drink it in ice. I'm gonna try this protein pasta. And then recently I've been obsessed with these because I stopped drinking beer and I like how this is bubbly, and then I just put tahini and ice on it and it tastes really good. Jasmine rice. Corn, because I'm going to try to make esquite, so I'm just going to use this and then make cashew crema and then put the hot powder, the spicy powder. And then I use this for the veggie tuna. And then some honey bunches just to put on oatmeal to use as granola. Peppa, what are you doing? What are you doing, mamas? Come here. Come here, mamas. Come here. Okay, so that's the muscles you work out when you're skating. And then for the food part, I'm gonna say like calories, like there's a whole bunch of restrictions by FDA or whatever, but I don't want to get too into detail about that. But the more calories you burn, if you eat less than the calories you burn, you're gonna lose weight. But if you eat as much as what you burn or more, you would gain weight or you would maintain your weight. So for me, I don't want to lose weight and I have to make sure I'm eating a little bit more. And because I am vegetarian / plant-based, I do eat protein powder to supplement meat products. So right now this is the one that I have been trying. It's pretty good, 9 out of 10. There's protein powders aren't always like the best tasting, but whatever. I gotten used to it. If you don't like the taste, you could mix it with fruits or any other things. So the regular intake for protein, I think is 0.5 what you weigh. So let's say you weigh 100, you would only be having to consume 50 grams of protein, but it goes up like 0.75 to 1 whole gram depending on how much you exercise. So if you are highly athletic, you should probably be aiming for 1 gram of protein per pound. So right now I consume between 100 to 120. And then there's also carbs. So carbs is what gives you energy, and carbs honestly get the most bad rep. So people are like, oh, don't eat bread, pastas to lose weight or whatever, but carbs give you the energy you need for high intensity workouts or high intensity sessions like skating. And then recovery is really important, so making sure you eat well is one thing, but also recovering in your sleep. So most of your recovery happens while you're sleeping, so if you're not sleeping enough, then you're just overstraining your body, and that's why you feel in pain all the time or tired all the time. And then hydrating is really important, so making sure you're drinking water constantly, especially right now in the summer where skating it's super hot and you're sweating constantly. But yeah, so if you're not, you burn a lot of calories while you're skating, so you should be training like an athlete and consuming high protein, high carbs, and healthy fats. Which is not to say that you should be on a diet or counting calories. Just eat when you're hungry and sufficiently. And a lot of people, especially I guess working from home or being constantly busy, sometimes they're like, oh shit, it's 5 p.m. and I haven't had my first meal. So what helps me is putting alarms. I have a Google Home and I tell it like, oh, put my alarm at so and so, and it reminds me to eat. And it also helps to, when you buy your groceries that day, like cut up all your vegetables and like you'll have everything ready and to make a quick meal or meal prepping. So I cook all my pasta in one so that I could just have it throughout the week. But yeah, so without getting too into detail, because I do believe like the whole fitness industry is about sort of aesthetics and not really about well-being and nutrition, or not everyone is that way, and sometimes like getting into macros and counting calories could kind of be in a way unhealthy, which is not a lot of people talk about, but counting calories could create habits that are similar to eating disorders. And I say that as someone who did have an eating disorder before, so I avoid counting calories and I avoid all those apps that tell me like, oh, you're missing this and you're missing that. What I know is that I'm trying to be on a routine where I do have a full breakfast and a full lunch, and then my dinners are a little bit lighter because usually I'm like super relaxed at the end of the day and I don't want to like be cooking as much, so I keep my dinners light, but then I have a snack before going to sleep. But yeah, so listen to your body, and it's not just like you're including your eating well and recovering well and resting is also your well-being. So for me, skating helps me deal with anxiety and depression, but there's also internal issues that I have or internal struggles in my head, so making sure you like communicate with people, or for me what helps me is keeping a journal. And also just learning how to speak up for myself, so saying no when I have too much of a workload at work. Make sure if you feel sore or extremely tired to rest. So don't, I know like there's like that Moxie skate challenge where you skate every day, but realistically sometimes your body does need a break, and make sure you take it so that you don't overexert your body and end up having an injury. So if you skate while you're really tired, you're not performing at your best level, and that's how you're more prone to injuries. But yeah, so like I said, skating is a whole workout, so you should be training like an athlete, and that includes eating well and resting well. So I hope this gets you to think about something. If you do want to look into like macros, which is like the protein, carbs, and fats, like there's a whole bunch of resources out on the internet. I think you could find like a macro calculator to see what your goals are in terms of losing or gaining weight. Skating is an exercise that works out so much for your body, so if you have fitness goals, like skating will help you get there. But yeah, so I don't want to get into like the whole losing weight and like body image stuff too much, because that's like a whole nother video. But I am gonna say like my goals are to maintain and to build muscle, so eating well is really important for me, and resting. So I don't prioritize sleep as much as I should, and that's something that I'm like constantly working towards. Like I think yesterday was the first time I actually like was in bed ready to turn off the lights by 11 p.m. and I'm hoping to create that routine. So I'm gonna end this video here and post it.